conditions at your location make this a possibility, you need to consider staying in place until the threat has subsided or blown over. The following steps will ensure that your home will serve as a biological or chemical safe haven. Select an inner room on an upstairs floor with the least number of windows and doors. Choose a large room with access to a bathroom and a telephone. Avoid using rooms with window air conditioners, as these are more difficult to seal. Again, remain calm and wait for further instructions from authorities.
Wow, that was pretty cool. What's up, everybody? My name is Tyler. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the little trailer that I had posted on Instagram, which you may or may not have seen. It's called Leave, and essentially just doing some testing. I was just kind of playing with different things, especially sound design in this one. So before we get too far into this, definitely recommend wearing some headphones. Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, started with some cool light peeking through the trees here to kind of symbolize being outdoors. You know, we don't really know where we are at this point. And then obviously the sound, I don't know if you guys notice, there is, let me mute the music real quick. So if I mute the music, you can hear like some foresty background sound there. So that's kind of what I was talking about, was just like adding in different sound bites and things that kind of bring you somewhere. Obviously, this clip has no audio. Oh, well, it does, but I took the audio out of the clip because it was literally just like me sitting in the car. So none of the clips that you see in this little trailer thing actually have the original audio in the the trailer, because it just wasn't useful audio. And I was just going to go back in and add in higher quality audio anyway. So, actually, for fun, let's watch a good portion of this without music, so you guys can get an understanding of like what I'm talking about.
As a result of the outbreak, your city or entire region may be endangered by a lethal...
So I'm going to pause right there. You can hear kind of like a low droning sound in the background. That's this track right here. And what that is basically just the audio of the inside of a car, because we are inside of a car. And that's one of those sounds that like you don't notice it, especially if you're not wearing headphones. But if it's not there, it sounds really empty. So here, I'll go ahead and mute that clip too, and we'll watch this car clip again.
As a result of the outbreak, your city or entire region may be endangered by a lethal...
So you can see just how much more empty it is. Like it just you don't feel like you're in the car anymore. It's such a subtle thing, right? Like it's just this low droning sound, you know, kind of like what being in a car would sound like. But when you don't have that in there, it just completely removes all of the immersion. And then also that sound of the car going by.
Your city or entire region may be endangered by a lethal...
So again, same thing. Another soundbite that I pulled. And the cool thing about that soundbite is that it actually pans from left to right.
A lethal agent. If conditions at your location make this a possibility...
So if you're wearing headphones, you probably heard this bass rise right here, and this kind of a rise right here. And that was really just to kind of help transition the scene. This is a hard cut between this and this. There's still movement in both. We're moving forward, but the perception is that we're moving backwards because of the mirror. And then it cuts to this kind of sideways shot where we're moving to the left. So there wasn't really a good way to transition these two very smoothly. So just adding that little like just kind of like a lead up into this shot kind of helps string it along, I think.
Is a possibility.
And of course you got the emergency like background audio. I kind of wanted to have that fear built into this a little bit. So that's why I ended up going with that one.
Staying in place until the threat has subsided or blown over.
I actually also have a radio static underneath of that audio as well, just to kind of, again, obviously we live in a world where we have like HD audio and stuff in our cars, like it would never sound like that, right? Like if you were listening to an emergency broadcast in your car, it probably wouldn't sound like it was coming over like a Walmart walkie-talkie. But here we go.
Ensure that your home will serve as a biological
So we're rolling.
or
Got this
chemical
tree.
safe haven.
Boom. This fall.
This fall, leave everything behind.
I wish I had a cool voiceover voice so that I could have done that right there, but like I don't have one. So, just that was just what was going through my head when I put that in there. I was like thinking like that, movie trailers always do that. They have this riser.
Or chemical safe haven.
And you get the bass kind of going out. So, same thing, just to build up. And what works here is the fact that when I shot this, we happened to drive past this section of trees here that covered the entire camera, which was awesome because it got dark enough to where I could just use it as a transition. And then after that, we have the kitchen shot here. And this shot right here, we've got good old Vector, our little sleepy robot. And this is a really cool shot because, so I'm gonna go ahead and go frame by frame here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So as I panned past that graduation card, I wanted it to transition into another scene that was using that same movement. And this is a very common thing that you'll see a lot of people do and maybe just don't notice it. And hopefully you didn't notice it when I did it because it felt pretty smooth to me. So frame by frame here, you can see I masked out what was actually behind that card because it was just the other side of the counter. But I masked it out and then put the clip, the mom sign clip underneath of it that's also moving that direction. Granted, it is moving a lot slower, but I think when it's played back at full speed, you really it just seamlessly puts you in a different part of the kitchen.
With access to a bathroom and a telephone.
So there you go. Interesting thing about this shot was the be the mom you want them to remember. Again, this isn't really pointed at any particular kind of person. Like part of me was thinking like maybe this is like a mom that like left and went somewhere and like the goal was to kind of like reiterate, be like, be a good role model essentially, right? Like take care of your kids, be the mom you want them to remember. And it's kind of like, I don't know, it's deep. And then when you put the music and stuff over top of it,
Indoors. Choose a large room with access to a bathroom and a telephone. Avoid using rooms with
the music just kind of works with it. So, and then of course the following shots, you have a family picture. So then again, just kind of following up some more sentimental pieces. And then yes, that is a picture of me. No, it's not a sound of me laughing, but a picture of me and my grandmother. And same deal, right? We're moving to the left still, right? So all these shots are moving to the left, right? Moving to the left, moving to the left, moving to the left, and moving to the left. Just to kind of bring you through this whole section of the kitchen all in one swoop. And I move, and if you look at the original, the establishing shot here, you can see actually the family photo is right there. I don't know if you can't really see it, but the family photo that I shot is actually right here. The mom sign is sitting right by the sink, and then there's the graduation picture, and the little robot is over here on the counter.
Wait for further instructions from authorities.
And then in this shot here, you can hear again some ambient, some background, like crickets and stuff.
From authorities.
So you can hear like a clock ticking in the background, which is that whole clip runs the entire time you're in the house. You just don't necessarily notice it until later, which is fine. To symbolize kind of like time is ticking away, whatever. And if you listen closely, this clip right here, this computer buzzing, it's kind of like a computer fan or something. I actually set the pan on this one all the way. You can see right here on the balance. I set the pan all the way to the right, and because the computer is off to the right side of the camera here. So same principle as before is as we come through here, it's actually moving, right? Like as the camera's starting to slowly come inward to those cans, the computer is obviously moving off to the right side of the camera. And that's why the sound of the fan that I played is really like just in that right ear cup. And it's kind of just like slowly moving more and more to the right. It gives you that feeling that you're there, right? Like you are the camera and the sound is coming around you. In this shot here, we have the fan, the shadow, of course. Kind of boring, but again, I like the flickering light in this one. Again, another stand-in shot just to kind of show that like, fan's still running. Like it's like recently been left. There's a sound of a fan running in here as well. And I adjusted the volume of that fan in each clip because if you listen, this is the sound of the fan. When I go to this next shot of the faucet, right, I wanted to give you the idea that like the faucet was like in the room over or like just like right next to the fan. So if you listen, now the fan sound is coming out of the left ear because I wanted to give you that feeling that like you moved to the right. Right, we were looking at the fan up here, and then we moved into the bathroom, and now the fan is over here. It's a little bit quieter now, too. If you look at the volume, I lowered it down here, and then I pushed it to the left side. And then now with that faucet sound, like I was saying before, you can listen. It doesn't actually line up with any of those drips at all. I mean, none of that lines up. But it doesn't have to, right? Because when you're watching it and the music and you're kind of like, you're thinking more about the story of like, oh man, like what happened? What's happening here? So you see a faucet dripping, you hear drips in the background, and suddenly your brain puts two and two together and they almost seemingly line up, even though they don't. And that's kind of a cool trick that I picked up on that I wanted to practice in this one. And then of course the last couple shots here, nothing super fancy, just some shots of like my jacket on the bed here, my shoes, and then the mask, right? Like that's like the, oh, wow, man, forgot the mask. Oh my God. So yeah, I mean, the one mistake I made here was if you pay attention to this shot, there are my shoes, and then the next shot, the mask is suddenly appears next to my shoes, which doesn't make sense because in this shot, the mask should still be here, but minor oversight. The clothes hanger is still there, by the way. I kept that. That is very consistent. But the mask is not there. But probably didn't notice it until now, so no big deal. And then, of course, the last bit here, mute the music. Add those whispers in there, you know, it's kind of like eerie. Again, just kind of adding that atmosphere, that eerie sound. One thing I did forget to mention back here are the pictures. Cool. So in these shots, again, same thing. Like I wanted to kind of give the impression that this was like a family photo, right? It's one thing just like show a family photo, but if I can add some sound to it to kind of like bring you to that memory, that time, that place. There's some people talking in the background. I have a clip of people talking, and then I have the camera clicking sound, you know, because it's a picture, and that kind of gives you, it kind of takes you to that memory for a second. It makes it feel a little bit more real. And then of course this picture is like it's me smiling and probably laughing about something. Damn, look at that haircut though. Sick fade, dude. I added like a kid laughing, right? You know, happy. There's happiness here, but the tone of the video is like really, or the trailer or whatever is like really, really sad, and the music's really sad. So it's kind of like these contradicting feelings, right? Like you feel sad all the way up to this point, and then you see like this happiness and smiling, but you realize that they're pictures, they're memories. The happiness isn't really there right now. And I think that was kind of the, once you start adding in like sentimental value to things, right, it makes it even more effective, I've found. Very quickly, so color here, you can see these are obviously heavily edited images. So like how did we go from this, which looks kind of like, okay, whatever, to, ooh, wow, like we're somewhere, you know? Long story short, I applied a LUT actually that I got from a YouTuber / photographer, Peter McKinnon. A lot of people know about him. He has his own LUTs, so I did use one of his LUTs, fade out here with some modifications, obviously. I would make some adjustments per clip if I needed to, but on this layer, I don't really do a whole lot. I did add the black cinematic bars, which is a very popular thing, obviously, for movies and stuff like that. You see right here, like I applied the LUT as a starting point, and then I adjusted the exposure, the highlights, all that stuff. And just kind of, we're just going for a really low contrast, kind of faded look, you know, very, you know, cinematic. There's really no better way to describe it. That was pretty much it. I mean, the practice exercise for this video was really just to play with sound design, trying to take you somewhere, and then also trying to tell a story in 30 seconds, or in my case, a minute. Anyway, that's gonna do it this week. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys want to see some more of this kind of thing, be happy to do more, so just let me know in the comments. And yeah, apologies for posting a couple days late. I had a couple things come up this week, so ended up having to move some things, but thankfully I had made this clip a couple days prior, so I was able to kind of use that this week. So yeah, hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next week. Peace.